Okay, we led with this. The Thunder obliterated the Lakers last night, and that wasn't the worst of it for L.A. That's Luka Doncic leaving the game with a left hamstring injury, tweaked it in the first half, then injured it in the third quarter. He'll have an MRI today to determine the extent of the injury. We don't know how bad it is. So how that's going to impact the Lakers' chances in the playoffs is obviously the headline. But there's also this. Luka Doncic has played in 64 games this year. He's leading the league at 33.5 points per game. He has 8 triple-doubles. He needs to play at least 20 minutes in one more game this year to qualify for NBA awards. So in addition to the MVP, in case there's anyone who's watching this who's not aware, if you're going to be on any of the NBA, all NBA teams, first team, second team, third team, any of those postseason awards, which mean a lot, both in the moment for contracts and historical reference, you have to play to the 65-game threshold. And, Tim, you were making the point this morning, and so I'll give it to you to pick it up from there and run, that we are looking at a season in which a lot of the NBA's obvious best players and performances are going to be excluded.
Yeah, this isn't just about Luka Doncic. This is Cade Cunningham, who the Pistons announced last night is going to miss another week at least. He's not going to be eligible. Anthony Edwards had to miss last night's game because he's still dealing with that knee swelling. He's going to be ineligible for awards. There's no way you can watch this NBA season and wonder whether those guys are deserving of being on the All-NBA teams. Luka's leading the league in scoring. Ant's third. Cade Cunningham's been the driving force of a Detroit team that's the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference. And as J.B. Bickerstaff, the Pistons coach, has said on multiple times, I understand the intent of the rule, but this isn't right. And I do think the NBA has got to look at some sort of exceptions. There are some very specific exceptions written in the rule, but none of those apply to these guys. My suggestion, if a guy has 2,000 minutes played and a significant injury, they should be granted an exception to be eligible for awards and then leave it in the hands of the voters. But again, there's no way you're looking at the ballot and wondering if Luka Doncic is a first-team All-NBA player, wondering if Cade Cunningham and Anthony Edwards belong, you can argue first team, second team, somewhere on those ballots. Now, kind of a cruel twist here. That would have been Luka's 65th game, but he was suspended Monday night because of his 16th technical foul.
So there's that side of it as well. I am so torn because anyone who has ever paid attention to my shows going back to the Mike and Mike days, to me, load management is one of the worst things that has happened in sports in recent years. Players taking all these games off. That's why these rules are in place. And so I support the spirit of the rule completely. And if you're looking for someone to blame, that's who you blame. You blame the players themselves who have turned the regular season, who have made it seem so meaningless to play in all of these games that they put the league in a position where they had to put this rule in the first place. Adam Silver didn't wake up one morning and say, I think I'm just arbitrarily going to create a rule about postseason award eligibility. He had to do it to combat what was and is a significant NBA problem. Now, having said that, we also deal with the reality that, Tim, what you just said, I agree with. This is not what the rule was intended to adjust, to attack. This is not the problem it was trying to solve, and it creates another problem where if we put together all NBA teams that don't include the 3 names you just mentioned, it's somewhat farcical, right? It looks a little bit ridiculous. So how do you think they handle it? What do you think the league ultimately does here, Tim?
Yeah, it's almost becoming like the NFL's Pro Bowl, where it's like how many injury replacements do you need to get to? Is Shedeur Sanders going to be on the All-NBA team? But I think, again, this is something that the league is going to have to discuss. Adam Silver, when he was asked about this recently, was very firm that the rule is having its intended effect, which is eliminating load management. But none of these are load management cases. And the one thing I would push back on is putting load management on the players. Load management, by and large, with few exceptions, those are organizational decisions. So this has put the pressure on organizations to play their stars. But again, how can the league not look at this, especially, this doesn't apply to any of these 3 specific cases, but there are supermax contract escalators tied to All-NBA. If you're going to mess with guys' money with this, the league's going to have some serious issues.
Yeah, that's an enormous piece of this. Some of these guys have already qualified for their supermaxes and all that, but it would impact younger players. There are betting implications involved in all this as well. Joe, what are they?
The one that everyone's looking at right now is the MVP award with SGA. He was a favorite a week to 2 weeks ago, minus 1,000. Now, you saw the surge with Wemby. You saw the big speech he gave. It was impassioned. The price dropped all the way to minus 360. But then we saw the performance last night, coupled with Wemby sitting out, and now you're up to minus 600. So I don't know if you necessarily want to make that play at the moment. But Tim Bontemps' straw poll recently came out. It's the best data point we've got. Con Knippel to win Offensive Rookie of the Year in the straw poll, runaway winner over Cooper Flagg. They didn't adjust that one as much. That's what I would look at. But as long as this rule is in place, you can monitor these awards markets throughout the course of the season and find great opportunities because of them.
Because the 65-game thing is going to make the decision one way or the other. Tim, stay close by. More NBA as we go, but we have the Final Fours ahead of us. Of course, the women will start tonight. We'll get to them a little bit later. I've got JWill with me here to look at the men's Final Four with tips off tomorrow night. Illinois taking on UConn in the first semifinal. And not surprisingly, Connecticut coach Dan Hurley is locked in on winning his third title in 4 years.
We came here for rings, not watches. You know, everyone that comes to the Final Four gets a beautiful watch, you know, but only one ring. We don't hang banners for Final Fours at UConn. We hang national championship banners, and if you want to hang a banner, you got to get your eyes off social media, get your face out of the phone, and get locked in on Illinois.
I got to tell you, I like it. We come here for rings, not watches. JWill, UConn, I'm not sure. What's that?
Play the Final Four to win the Final Four? Doesn't everybody play the Final Four to win the Final Four and to go there to win a national championship? Isn't that what all four teams are doing?
So, yes, absolutely. And yet somehow he says it better than most people generally say it. Looking at it, and I don't know if I don't know if you'll agree with me. It feels to me like they may be the least talented of the four teams that are still standing in this tournament, but they have a little bit of a team of destiny feel. I mean, after what happened on Sunday, kind of hard to bet against it. What's the biggest factor you think in that game tomorrow night, Illinois and Connecticut?
Well, I just think it's the fact about defensively, UConn being able to guard the likes of a guy like Keaton Wagler. Keaton Wagler is not the Cameron Boozer, some of the other big names, A.J. DeBonta, Darren Peterson, names that we've heard in the NCAA tournament or actually in the regular season. But he's a top 10 NBA draft pick, and he has range that extends, you know, beyond the three-point line as soon as he walks in the damn building. And I think getting up underneath him and making life difficult for Keaton Wagler will be one of the critical reasons if UConn has a chance to actually win this ballgame, Greeny. All
right, so UConn and Illinois is the early game, and I don't want to say that anything feels like an appetizer, but boy, Michigan and Arizona, I mean, Charles Barkley said it was like Ali Frazier, and it does feel a little bit like that. What do you think will be the difference? They've been the two best teams. What will determine the outcome between Michigan and Arizona?
I got two things for you, Green. Number one, I think Arizona has relied upon its defense the entire year. You're talking about playing against probably the best offensive team in the game of college basketball that's been averaging 90-plus points per game in the NCAA tournament. Yaxo Lindenberg, Elliot Cadeau. I always think it starts with the head of the snake. It's Elliot Cadeau, the transfer from North Carolina, that is playing by far his best basketball of this season. And if you could take him out of the game, it makes their offense a little bit less efficient from the perimeter. But I will say this, Greeny, overall about the picture of the game and about the Final Four. Everybody is stating that Michigan-Arizona is the NCAA championship game, essentially, right? And it's setting itself up, Greeny, for one of these situations that the winner of that game, the dogfight it will be, the mental fight that it will be, the physicality of that game, the winner of that game, it just does feel, sets itself up for the winner of the UConn-Illinois game that's going to be underlooked, that nobody's going to be really looking at, to have the best chance to win the national championship game. We could be talking about UConn here on Tuesday winning the championship game because of the physical and mental fight that Michigan or Arizona have came out of that other Final Four game.
It's an interesting way of looking at it. Yeah, there's sort of a little bit of a hangover effect from what might feel, especially if the game plays out to be as close as it looks like it will. And look, historically, we've seen a lot of big upsets in the national championship game, and they're the ones that you see all over the place all the time. Jim Valvano running around the court looking for someone to hug. Villanova pitching a perfect game. I'm going back to the 80s now. Maybe I'm dating myself here. So right this minute, you're telling me you like the winner of UConn, Illinois to cut down the nets on Monday night?
No. No, I like Arizona still.
Okay.
I still like Arizona. I still like Arizona, Greeny.
That was my pick before it started. I'll stick with Arizona as well. Let's find out from Joe, who again was 9-0 last week. Yes, before we collect Joe's best, let's give you an idea of why you should be paying very close attention to his picks. Paul Skeens